living as we do in Badenoch in the Central Highlands of Scotland has a few disadvantages. We've got to drive 15 miles to a supermarket. We don't have a cinema, and in winter it can get really, really chilly. However, such disadvantages are outweighed by the advantages. When we head off for a weekend in our campervan searching for quiet roads amidst superb scenery, well, it begins virtually at our front door. This time we're heading south for a change, for a couple of nights in the lovely By the Way campsite in Tyndrum in Stirlingshire. Tyndrum is where the main road splits. The A85 heads west to Oban, while the A82 heads north over the Rannoch Moor to Glen Coe and Fort William. And it's that second road we'll be following today, albeit in the opposite direction. First of all, we'll be heading west past Loch Linnhe, Craigmechie and Spean Bridge to Fort William, and then we'll be heading south on the A82 through Glencoe. It's an area that I know really well. I've been climbing and hill walking here for more years than I care to remember. So come along with us and I'll tell you a few tales. Fort William, deep in the shadow of Britain's highest mountain, Ben Nevis, is always busy. It's a bustling kind of place, but in no time at all you'll be through it and rolling alongside lovely Loch Linnhe, gazing across the water to the hills of Ardgour. Past Rannoch now, where Loch Linnhe joins Loch Linnhe, and we can gaze over the water to the hills of Morven and the distant hills of the Isle of Mull. Approaching the Ballachulish Bridge now, and it's hard to think of that long drive around Loch Linnhe and through Kinloch Linnhe in pre-bridge days. I remember it, and it was always a toss-up, the 20-mile drive around the loch or a long wait in the queue for the ferry across to Ballachulish. And now the big hills of Glencoe come into view. Straight ahead lies the almost overpowering presence of the west face of Annachdu, an outlier of Buachaille, the highest hill in Argyll. Now we're looking up the length of the Fionn Glen, and the prominent hill on the left is the Munro Ben Mulhallam. A closer view of Annachdu now, the Black Ridge, turning its back on the sunshine as it does, and on the left lies the notched ridge of Annachhiach, a good scrambly kind of challenge for hill walkers. This whole area is where the 1692 massacre took place, when the local MacDonald clan were put to the sword by a party of government militia, mostly Campbells. This event gave the glen its nickname, the Glen of Weeping. But I must admit, I've never seen it like that. I've never seen it as a sad place. I see it as an exciting, awe-inspiring place. Somewhere where I've personally enjoyed a lifetime of adventure on the hills and the crags. And I never tire of driving through it, even on busy days like this one. There's legend here too. Ossian, the bardic warrior son of the Irish hero Finn MacCool, is said to have been born high on the slopes of Rannoch Moor in a cave that bears his name. And further along the glen lies the Corrigal, where the MacDonalds were said to hide their stolen cattle. Some folk, maybe a wee bit more romantic than I am, call it the Lost Valley. That's the Corrigal up there, or the Lost Valley, and the glen to the right of it is Corrie and Lochan, and the route to the wonderful ridges of Bidgeon and Bean. The long ridge appearing now on the left is the Buachaille Etive Mor, or the little herdsman of Etive, if you like. It's the wee brother to the Buachaille Etive Mor, the big herdsman we'll see in just a minute. There's a lovely sense here of being kind of released from the jaws of the glen as the views open up, with the Buachaille Etive Mor on the right and the slopes of Ben the Cruelistja on the left. And in between lies that flat, boggy mattress of the vast expanse of the Rannoch Moor. You can just see the whitewashed cottage that is the Altnafe climber's hut, and beyond it Corrie and Turach, and that's where you'll find the walker's route, the walker's path to the summit of the Buachaille Etive Mor. To the left of it lies the playground of the climbers, the ribs and the ridges, the buttresses and the crags that offer some of the finest traditional rock climbs in the country. And in winter the Buachaille really comes into its own and is surpassed only perhaps by Ben Nevis in its range of winter mountaineering routes. The Buachaille Etive Mor, the great herdsman of Etive, was probably named by cattle drovers who passed by this way from the Highland glens as they were travelling south to the great cattle trysts of Crieff and Falkirk. And it's a very special mountain, although the writer Charles Dickens didn't think so. He actually suggested it was the kind of place you come across when in the height of a fever. We're just passing the Glen Etive Road now, which trundles for a few miles down to Loch Etive, a sea loch, and another great mountain, Ben Starov, home for a while of, if the legend is to be believed, the legend of Deirdre of the Sorrows, one of the great epic tales of Celtic mythology. I'm going to turn off the A82 for a minute or two and drive up to the Glencoe ski grounds, because I want to show you the classic view of the Buachaille Etive Mor from Black Rock Cottage. There it is now. The cottage is owned by the Scottish Ladies Climbing Club, one of our oldest mountaineering clubs in Scotland. On our way back down the ski road now and back to the A82, and you get a sense here of the scale of the Rannoch Moor and a good view of Ben the Cruelistja on the left. That's the hill with the cloud shadow on it. It's been claimed that the whole of the Lake District National Park could be dropped into the Rannoch Moor, with some space to spare all round. Okay, that's us back on the A82 with the outline of the hills of the Wall of Rannoch away ahead of us. We've just crossed the summit of the moor at about 1500 feet, and we're a wee bit closer to the wall of Rannoch Hills now. You're looking at, from left to right, Buachaille, Buachaille and Badenoch. Bridge of Buachaille, the wee village of Bridge of Buachaille, is to the right of these hills, and then it's a straight run to our journey's end at the By the Way campsite in Tyndrum. It's an unusual name for a campsite, but it's positioned adjacent to the West Highland Way, the 98-mile long distance trail that runs between Buachaille, just north of Glasgow, to Fort William, one of the most popular trails in the country. It's a lovely campsite here, well laid out and beautifully quiet when you consider how busy Tyndrum can be. And it's going to be our base for a couple of days. So I hope you've maybe enjoyed this little journey with us from Glen Coe and over the Rannoch Moor. And we're just going to settle in here and work out a few walks to do over the next couple of days. If you've liked this video, can I invite you to subscribe to the channel and maybe hit the little notification bell so we can let you know when we post another video. And of course, if you want any more information on anything I've said today or anything at all, or even more info on the channel, just post your questions below. So that's it. See you next time. Someone actually told me there's a great fish and chip shop in Tyndrum, so I'm off to find it.